Hey, I'm in Irvine, California. Yes, bright, sunny Irvine, California. And I'm not in my own kitchen. You can see this now. I'm not in my own kitchen. I'm in the kitchen of Cyclist, silver medalist Dotsie Bausch. And she has such an incredible story, such an inspirational story that I want you all to hear. So from your days modeling in New York, when you hit sort of a low, to going to a true high, finding cycling, and then having veganism take you to the Olympics. We will get to that, folks. And then on your way up, you wanted to spend your energy taking us and the planet and animals on the trajectory up along with you. So you have such an inspirational story. So I hope that you guys will stay put and watch us. We're gonna do a little vegan eating along the way, and send us your questions, because there'll be a great time for us to stop in the middle and take everyone's questions. I got Facebook Live finally working. So we'll take your questions, and Dotsie will answer everything. So stick with us. And I'm gonna let Dotsie, first of all, tell us what she made today in her kitchen.
Oh, yes. Well, we just did
I'm eating.
little spinach salad. We've got some pumpkin seeds and some hemp seeds on there for your omegas, and tons of protein in the hemp seeds, avocado. And in honor of your first guest, Ethan Brown from Beyond Meat, big fan.
Whom we love.
Yes, love. Try the Beyond Burger.
And the man.
Yeah, good point.
We love both.
It's a blackened Beyond Meat chicken salad.
So
it's a little spicy.
I have never had
but it's quite good.
Their chicken, actually.
Oh.
I always have their burgers, of course,
Right.
the Beyond Meat burger,
Right.
and then their sausages just launched, so I had a little sneak peek at their sausages, which was so wonderful. But I've never had the chicken, so okay.
Yeah, to die for.
Oh, I'm going, and I love that you put hemp seeds in. Gosh.
Yes.
I feel like that's
I
such
put seeds on
luxury.
everything.
Do you so
like
good.
on my pastas and my soups and my salads. I don't know. I
you're
just
so
love
good.
sesame, hemp, and pumpkin are probably my top
Sesame
three.
hemp. Wow. You guys, this is living large. I'm living large in Irvine, California with Dotsie Bausch in her kitchen. Well, okay, I'm going to dig in.
Okay.
This is
all right.
kind of
You eat. I'll
cool
eat after.
because I get to eat and she's got to talk.
I'll have some grapes.
Yes, have a grape. So tell me, well, tell the world. I think everybody knows you as a cyclist, but maybe they don't know that you started out as a model, and with that came some tricky situations. Tell us how you
they were
started.
not necessarily, hand in hand related, but they were around the same time. I did some runway modeling in New York after I graduated from Villanova in Philadelphia. Moved to New York for a New York minute. It was only just about a couple of years that I modeled, but during that period of time, and actually 2 years before that, really started my anorexia my junior year of college. I was quite sick. It went on for almost 6 years and progressed. Slowly or rapidly, however you want to look at it. But by the end, I was really, really sick. Was hospitalized a few times.
Several
rock
times.
bottom.
More than one.
Yeah, I was in and out of treatment. So not really wanting to heal at that point, right? And any kind of addiction or illness that involves addiction or disordered anything, whether it's drug, alcohol, or eating disorder, you've got to be ready. You have to be ready.
Yes,
to
you
heal.
have to want it.
Yeah.
No one can make you do this.
I didn't.
And, yeah.
My poor family tried many times to help me and get me to the right place for healing, and but I didn't take it seriously because I didn't want it at the time.
Is it that you couldn't see it, or you just weren't open to it? So did you acknowledge that you had it? But
it's almost like an in and out of consciousness type of thing where, and I think alcoholics have this, drug addicts, where you have your subconscious that is aware,
Yes.
and it kind of
some level
ebbs
you
and
know.
flows, and you're like, oh, this is probably not good, this is really, and I had some real difficult physical things happening to me. I mean, I became amenorrheic. My hair was falling out. My skin was turning gray. My teeth were turning black because I had moved at that point into bulimia. But I just wasn't getting the nutrients I needed. So my your teeth will change colors if you're not getting all the nutrients that we need.
Okay.
Yeah, your the whites of your eyes, everything. So I was aware in the mirror that things were really starting to change. But at the same time, I don't want to let go. It's how I'm exerting my sense of control over my life that I felt very out of control in. And I was addicted to the behaviors. I was addicted to the high of starving myself, which many people don't realize you get very euphoric when you're, negative that many calories every day for a long period of time. So, I was addicted to all of that, the nature of it. But, it took the rock bottom of me trying to commit suicide, where I finally opened like one of my eyes a quarter of the way and was like, okay, I got to do something because I'm going to die. And I'm not really caring at that point whether I die or not at all. But I felt this incredible sense of need to try to get better for my family.
Yes.
Then that was the catalyst. Really, it was them.
Luckily, you felt that, and I think for people who don't have a familial bond, they don't have that foundation.
Yeah.
They don't have that option then, in a way.
I know, and it's important for them to then lean on a good friend or anybody that has shown that they love and care for them. And I tell a lot of people that love people with eating disorders, the most powerful thing you can do is just reach out and say, I love you. Not, you really should eat something, or you're getting too skinny, or place it on their physical being, but place it emotionally and say, I love you, and I'm here no matter what. And they'll hear that, and they may not do anything about it at that moment, but 6 months, 1 year, how many ever, they'll say, okay, that's the person I can trust, because you've told them that. You've told them that you can trust and you love them.
Right. And also I think the pressure of what can I do for you? What is a lot to place on someone. But just the bare bones of, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And then it's up to you to pick up the torch when you feel the mood.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you come to cycling from modeling?
Well, I actually went from modeling to doing art department production for commercials and music videos back when we had those.
Back in the day.
And I had moved out here to California. By that point, I moved out in 96. And I found my therapist out here who was the inspiration and the reason that I still have my life today. And we went on a therapy healing journey that took about 2 years. And towards the end of that, she said, I really want you to be able to find some kind of physical outlet where you can move your body in a healthy way again, because I definitely have over-exercise disorder, which is a part of anorexia for most people.
Right.
And so she said, just choose something that you've just never really done before. And I just chose riding a bike, because we're out in LA and it's gorgeous and it's 75 and sunny
easy.
Every day.
Everybody has a bike.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to be on a schedule. You don't have to make a class.
No, and it just seemed so freeing, which is what I really was craving at the time, that feeling. And I just loved it from like moment one. So I got like a used mountain bike, and she said, go on your way. And so anyway, I did.
And okay, so you have no Olympic aspirations at this point.
No,
you're just thinking like going around the block. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, right. It was exactly what I was trying to do, is go around the block. And I live near Griffith Park, so I headed over there to ride. This is beautiful. And I ran into some people that were on a group ride, which we do to train in groups together. And they have a lot of, they have a competitive spirit, competitive nature about them. And rode with some guys over there. And I'm like, head to toe, all sorts of wrong, from everything I'm wearing to my shoes that aren't clipping yet, to like the wrong weird helmet. Even to the wrong bike, because I'm on a mountain bike and we're on the road.
Right.
And so, but they kind of took me under their wing and were like, what are you doing? Because I could kind of physically, I could stay up with them, and so they were like, this is weird. Like, you just started riding? Like, yeah. Like, at this point it was like, yeah, like last week I just picked this up.
And you were keeping up with them.
So, yeah, I mean, I would have eventually got separated, but for a period of time. So, I ended up doing the California AIDS ride. Pretty soon after that, I thought, well, this is cool. I can do something good for the world, good for people, raise the money, and it feels good. It went from San Francisco to LA. So, and after that, I had a major bug. And I just thought I would do these charity rides like forever. I mean, I'm going to be 150 on the bike on these charity rides. These are awesome,
Yes, they're
it's just so cool.
Yeah.
But the guys on that ride said, I think you should try a race. And I'm 26 at the time. And I'm like,
which from an athletic perspective is considered old.
It's way over the hill to like start.
Yes, right.
No,
yeah,
it's true.
It's wonderful though. I think that's so inspirational.
I said, all right, I'll try a race. And they found a race, and then we bought a license online at USA Cycling because I didn't even know you needed one of those. So.
I was going to say, why do you need a license?
Well, it's like if you're going to race in a sanctioned cycling race that's governed by a body, and then you have to be a certain category for safety. So you start as a category 4, and then through your results, you move up to 3 to 2 to 1 to pro. So, to keep everyone safe, basically.
Right. Okay.
Cycling
makes sense.
Pretty dangerous sport. It's not like running where you're,
sure.
like, you probably can't really hurt anyone, but except yourself. But so that's how it's set up. So
Okay.
So I started. I did a Cat 4 race.
And at what point did you say, I think I'll try out for the Olympics?
I never said that.
Okay. Well, never then. That would be never.
There was a time where I was like, it kind of came in. I raced on the road professionally for 10 years. So when I tried the track, which is what I went to the Olympics in, I felt satisfied and kind of finished with my road career and was thinking about retiring, but wanted to try the track out of just sheer interest and because honestly, I was really scared of it because it's a very steep banking, 44 degrees, 250 meters. It's crazy. It still doesn't make sense to me this day how this tires stick on this banking. So I thought I just got to try this. I got to have this thrill and kind of overcome this fear. But then I fell in love with doing it, and then they put our event that I went to the Olympics into the Olympics. Of course, they had it in for years and years and years with the men, but the 2012 Olympics Games is when they put that event in for women. And so I'm racing at that time, and we're doing World Cups, and I'm on the team. And but when they put our event in the Olympics, it was that was 3 years out when we found out from the 2012 Olympic Games. That's when I said, okay, I don't know. There may be a shot at this, Wow. I don't know if I'll make the team, but it came into my sphere at that point as something that I could consider
attainable, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so, what did you do to train? And I think some dieting things changed for you around that time. But tell me the timeline.
They had changed a little bit before that.
Okay.
So I as an athlete, I really honestly never thought a lot about my nutrition.
Interesting.
Most of it came from healing from my eating disorder. And when I did that, I said, okay, moving forward, and we did a lot of work on this in therapy, there'll be nothing that is, that I will consider off the list that I can eat. I wanted to give myself free reign to eat anything.
Makes
anything.
Sense. From where you were coming from.
Yeah.
No restrictions.
I didn't want to weigh food. I didn't want to count calories. I didn't want to look, because I had memorized the calories and everything, and that's still, I don't like that I know that, because I don't care anymore. I haven't weighed myself in many years. So, but it came from that. That was the stem of it, right? So, I just didn't, I tried to fuel myself with things that I thought were good for me and thought were helping with my energy and my stamina and my strength and my resilience. But I didn't know that they necessarily were. So when I changed over to a plant-based diet, which was because I was exposed to the horror that we'll talk about a little bit later with Compassion Over Killing and what they're doing. But that was my instigator. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking health. I wasn't thinking environment. I just was like, what is going on?
And I won't have anything to do with it.
I'm opting out. This is just will not be something that I'm going to spend my money on. Okay. And at that point, I don't even know that I'm going to encourage anyone else to not spend their money on it. But I just know for me, that's not okay. I can't live in peace with that on my plate, or as a part of me, and then becoming me, because you are what you eat on any given day in any given moment. So that's enough. And it was like the next day.
So this is wonderful. I love that. I'll just repeat it because it's so good. You are what you eat. And we always hear that in terms of like fat calories, fries go to your thighs. But really what you're saying is you are what you eat in terms of energy. So you're taking in that wickedly negative energy. I won't harp on this. And that is becoming you. Okay, so I won't go on it. But that was what initially turned you. And it wasn't because you had a nutritionist or a coach that was saying, fuel yourself. This was your own instigation. Okay, so then what happened to your performance?
Well, it at first, mentioning coaches and nutritionists, they were all like, what are you doing? You
And
know,
tell
we're
me
like,
the year again that this is.
So this was 2006.
Okay, so 2006, you're changing your diet dramatically, going plant-based, and even the professionals at this point are saying like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there just wasn't very, I mean, you know, we've come along so far, even in just the last couple of years, and now there's a couple of doctors that work at the U.S. Olympic Committee. One of them, Scott Stoll, who's in the Game Changers film, is like, you know, yes, most athletes, especially power athletes, which track cycling is, are very concerned with protein. And it's something that they want to make sure they're getting enough of. But what package your protein is coming in is what matters.
Right.
Is it in plant form or is it in animal-based form? And
Because you want stamina for something like cycling. So.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so obviously that comes, you know, your stamina comes from your carbohydrates too. I mean, well, for the most part. But to build the muscle tissue, you want the protein. So anyway, it was almost overnight that I started feeling different. You know, like I stuff was different. I was just kind of, first it felt better emotionally. I mean, because I knew why I was doing what I was doing. So, you know, it just started to feel kind of in alignment with myself and what I cared about and what mattered and what made sense. But then, my performance, it got better, but I think it got better because I was recovering faster. Because at this point, I'm a lot older, and recovery is everything in really any sport, but especially my type of sport, to be able to repair, to handle the same damage the next day. Because in training, we're not getting better in training, we're tearing ourselves down. Right. And then you have to recover from that to build stronger and get stronger to be able to do it again the next day. The person that can train the most, that's why cyclists and other sports, that's why doping is in there, right? Because they can recover faster and handle more workload and a bigger workload than someone who's not. So that's what really the change was with the plant-based diet, was this recovery was just like, it was like a rocket ship.
Well, I know, so I saw the Game Changers, and we're all waiting for the date that the Game Changers is coming out. We're just on pins and needles. I know we all are. But what you say in the Game Changers, which I love, is that you hadn't thought about being plant-based for your performance, and then you were just being able to go longer and recover faster than your teammates, and they were like, okay, I guess we got to put you in the Olympics. Like, you just didn't see it coming.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to put in the best team to you know, because every governing body of every Olympic sport is in the business to win medals. Right. If they don't win medals, they're fired after the Olympic Games. Right. So they're going to put in the best team that has the best shot at taking home some kind of hardware. So they had to use me.
And so were you surprised, and were the others around you, like your teammates, what did they say when they saw your performance and what you were eating? Did they want to switch? Did they think it was weird?
No, you know, I don't think that any of them thought it was weird. I mean, all of us were grown women, you know, we didn't have any, you know, like teenagers on our team, let's say. So we were all of us were married. So, you know, they were just, they were respectful. And I think at that point they weren't really wanting to change much because they were going good and going towards, but I do have, a dear friend and who was one of my teammates in the Olympics, who has 2 baby girls now, who really is realizing that all those years, all of the bloating and the stomachache and the discomfort was from the dairy. She was here with me for our Switch for Good commercial filming and hasn't had a bite of dairy since, and is absolutely feels like amazing. Yeah, I think she would say, if we asked her, almost like another person physically and how she's feeling. So this many years later, she's making a change.
It's fantastic. And let's give her a shout out. Who is
Jenny Reed?
Jenny Reed. Yeah. Okay.
She turns 40 next week. I'm going for her party.
So I was going to say, Switch for Good is all these athletes. I don't know if you guys saw it during the Oscars, and it was also up during the Olympics, was it?
Yes, it was. It was on, it aired once in Washington, D.C. Yes, on NBC. The Olympic Committee actually got it pulled So that's some little tidbits that people aren't aware of. Yes. And so
Why
anyway.
did the Olympic Committee get it
Oh,
called?
well, their big sponsor, Follow the Dollar, always follow the dollars.
Of course.
Is the Dairy Board, Dairy Herd Management Board, known as Milk Life. And so that wasn't us telling our truth and being honest about exposing, that wasn't going to be good for their pocketbook.
Business.
So that's
Okay.
we're dealing with
So
that.
I bet you are, but a little note there is industry does not have your health in mind. So you
Ever.
have to make the decision for you about your health, and only you can do that. So Milk Does a Body Good and a bunch of other gazillion campaigns. We're not here to tell you what to do, but you decide for yourself, because in the end, it is your health and your pocketbook, because being sick is just so gosh darn expensive. So you can only make that decision for yourself. Alternative facts, they're abound everywhere. But let's just tell everybody what Switch for Good is. So it's a bunch of athletes, including your friend Jenny Reed, who say that they're just not going to have dairy in their workout routine, in their nutritional life.
It's 7 different Olympic athletes from 4 different countries. If you go to Switch and the number 4 good.org, the commercial is front and center on the homepage, the 30-second spot that ran on ABC, so people can see it. But it was born out of me seeing the Milk Life commercials that say 9 out of 10 Olympians grew up drinking milk. Okay, yeah, right.
What does
Before
that mean?
knew
We
each
all
other,
did.
Like,
Right, yes.
my parents and our grandparents grew up smoking.
Right.
What is that? And what, like, it has something to do with whether you're going to become an Olympian or not.
Right, that's-
With what you drink when you grow up. I mean, water, what beer, I don't know what. I mean, it's just please. So I just
10 out of 10 Olympians drank water when they were growing up. So,
yes, yeah, I know.
It's not an important
for
statistic,
sure.
right?
It's not important. It's not relevant at all. But that's that's advertising,
Right,
at its best, right? So,
Yeah.
So I just it was born out of that, the idea for Switch for Good, because I just felt enraged that this was just it was on TV and it was they were able to get away with it, but you always are because it's advertising and marketing and dollars. So that's how it was kind of the idea was born to kind of answer that.
Right.
In untruthful commercial.
So I'll just say, if you want to go to switchforgood.org, one thing that I think you'll find interesting is that it's not just cyclists. So it's Olympians from weightlifters to
Swimming.
skiers to swimming to, I think, surfing.
Track and field.
Surfing. Is there a surf?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Track
Soccer.
and field, soccer, and then, of course, cycling. So, and all these are incredible athletes. Just like the Game Changers movie that's going to be coming out, just incredible athletes abound, and how they say that their performance has dramatically changed because they've switched over to plant-based, which makes sense for them, and they are making the decision that is good for them, for their business, for their body, and they're not listening to advertising. So, okay, but I digress. So one of the reasons I really wanted to talk to Dotsie is because I think her story is so inspirational, and we all have ups and we have downs, and it is so hard to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and change our life at whatever age, be it 26 to start cycling, or how old were you when you went plant-based? 29?
No. 37.
37, going plant-based. So change is hard. It's a part of life, but it is hard nonetheless. But what I love about Dotsie is that on her way up, pulling herself up, she wanted to pull up everybody with her, and that means animals too. So, and in the end, that means you. When we do good things for the planet and we do good things for animals, that means doing good things for ourselves, because a healthy planet means a healthy us. There's really no way around that. So
Yeah, we're connected.
We are connected. So here you're talking about getting dairy out of your nutritional life, but you've done a lot of work with Compassion Over Killing. They have many campaigns to get to a healthier you, but also get to a more informed you and a transparent reveal, if you will, of what goes on in factory farms. Tell us about the campaign that you're working on right now with Compassion Over Killing.
So there is a new idea, if you will, that has come about to increase the slaughter speed lines for pork producers. Right, so they're already killing 1,300 animals an hour. So I don't even think
one every 3 seconds.
So it's to increase that even further. It specifically puts basically the slaughterhouse in charge. It decreases the amount of government workers that we have standing and inspecting what's going on. So Compassion Over Killing did an undercover investigation, and their undercover investigator, his name is Scott, and he was at the slaughterhouse, quality pork producers, if you will. Yes, that's their name.
Advertising.
Right. And he said he knew when he went in, he was going to see horrifying animal cruelty. Like, he knew that. That was it to be expected. But what he saw was not only inhumane, but it was gravely unhealthy. He said he saw pigs who were injured, who couldn't walk, who were near death, who had oozing abscesses, infections, covered in feces, being killed through this new, it was the high-speed slaughter kind of pilot program. The USDA did it at a few different slaughterhouses. And so, for so many different reasons, human health and to be humane, this cannot go through. So if anybody cares about speaking up and doing something, if you go to change.org, their petition is on there. All you have to do is put in not so fast USDA and it'll pop right up. They have over 250,000 signatures, but they need more because they're taking this to DC.
Let's
sign.
So I signed, of course, I signed.
Yeah.
But I just want to reiterate a couple of things that were said here. So this means that I think a lot of people turn away. Certainly I did, and I can't blame anyone else. I turned away because I couldn't face these horrifying facts, and I didn't want to feel so horrible because it is horrible to see pain and torture. So I'll just say this. We'll put the animal issues aside just for a second. Do you want pork that is covered in feces that ultimately you eat? So if you saw the movie Food Inc. and it talked about how feces got into the beef line because the factories were, processing them so quickly, it's the same thing here. So if you care about what you're eating for your own health, you might want to think that pus isn't good for you and pig feces isn't great for you. So if you care about any of those issues, then you'll want to sign this by going to COK.org, and you can search by putting not so fast, or if you just click to the left, they've got all these campaigns, and you can click on the high-speed kill. But if I can just say one more thing, another reason, if you care about workers' rights at all, this sucks for them, because what this means is that, first of all, they're taking any inspection process away. So there's no inspector looking out for the pigs or your health, and there's no one looking out for the workers. So they are having accidents all the time. This means around dangerous machinery, there is no give for them, and they have to 3 animals a second, and it's getting faster. So in terms of workers' rights, this is absolutely abominable. And then I think we're all kind of done with no transparency in our food system. So I'm done with that. Like, hey, my food, my body, and I want to know what the F is going on, and this isn't going to fly with me. So I signed. I hope you'll sign. And I want to thank Dotsie for all the work that she does with Compassion Over Killing, and I thank Compassion Over Killing for all the work.
And there's some killer athletes like Dustin Watton of the Team USA volleyball. He's on board. Leilani Muncher, the race car driver.
Love her.
Jack Lindquist, a friend and a fellow cyclist mine. There's so many athletes and celebs that are standing behind this and are going to be in DC for when they take the petition. But it's, I've been to humane slaughter. That's a whole other conversation, right? Like the BS behind that, because there's no such thing.
There is no such thing. Yeah.
There's no such thing. But this is just something that you go, bing, before you die, when you realize you're going to be killed, every species, every animal on the planet, including us, we don't want to die. Right. Cortisol, yes, but you crap. Of course we would crap our pants right before we're going to die.
Yeah, you're god-awful scared. Yeah.
I don't think people realize how much crap is in slaughterhouses. It's covered. The floors are covered. The walls are covered. It gets slinged as they chain the animals up and hook them up. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And
you're eating it.
It's in your food.
It's in your food. Yeah, it's in your food.
Delish.
Yeah. It's in your food. We're back to Beyond Meat, folks. Yes.
Plants.
Go plants. Go plants. And then this brings us to our next topic. So a lot of people say, like, I heard what Dotsie says, and that's wrong, and I'm not for it. But help, what do I do now? So she's got an answer for that too. I told you she was bringing us all up along with her. So you are working with compassion champs to help people sort of, and for lack of a better expression, you can help me out here, sort of to mentor people through how to change your diet. Because a lot of people say, okay, I get it. It's horrible for animals, even horrible for me. I want to change my ways. Now what do? I'm not sure how.
Yeah. There's so many people that are just like, okay, but what's next?
Yes, help.
So at Compassion Champs, which is a small nonprofit that I started a couple years ago, we have a one-on-one mentorship program. I mean, we're small enough now that we can still handle that. And I've got some great, amazing mentors that are mentoring a lot of different people. I just got an email yesterday from a young mother who's a nurse who has 5 children, who said, I've been paleo for, I think she said 5 or 6 years, a long time. And she said, I've done all the research and I recognize that going plant-based is the healthiest for my family and the future of the planet that my 5 children live on. I'm done, but I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay,
here I am. Let's go.
Here we go. Like, wow. So it's step by step. She's got some food allergies, so we're kind of working through those, some tree nuts and different things. But it's really a hand holding. I mean, there's a lot of information in books and on the internet, and you can Google too. But it's great. People really sometimes need just that person that's going to walk with them in the beginning, and just help them through the hurdles that they specifically feel like they're having.
So what I love about this, and I think we can all relate to this, no matter how you voted in the last election, you voted to the right, you voted to the left, whatever, no matter how you voted, we all kind of realize, I think, government is so not on our side. Yeah. We really have to stand together. It's kind of us against them, unfortunately. So government's not looking out for you, and neither are the advertisers and all the alternative facts or the buzzwords that you're hearing or the things that are trying to get you to buy milk, meat, pens, whatever, gasoline, whatever. You got to stick with your neighbor. This is why she's trying to help us. And, and I'm here to help too. If I can, hit me up, email me, because we have to stick together. If you want to be healthier, it's not like government's going to do that for you. You got to come to it yourself, and we're here to help. And so are many others.
Look under the hood yourself, right? That's what I always say. Like, don't listen to me. Don't listen to her. Like, we may be instigating some ideas and some thought processes, but now you go look.
Yes.
Because that's really the only way we make the biggest changes. When we say, okay, now I've really uncovered what's important to me, and I say, okay, now I'm going to opt out of this and make a change, and maybe for my friends and family. But
and just do what's right for you. And maybe that means cutting out meat 3 days a week. Or, 5 days a week, or just at lunch, or. You make what decision is good for you. And you come to it the way you come to it, at the pace you come to it, and you'll just be a lot
That is such an important point, because I hear from people all the time, like, okay, I'm ready to go 100%. And you're like, okay, are you? It's okay if you're not. People want to come to this in some kind of perfect state. And it's not, just let it go. Once a week, whatever you need to do. If you are ready to go all in, you really are, that's great too.
Sure.
That's how I did it, and I didn't die. It works differently, the transition for everyone a different way.
Yes, what I did is I got rid of all meat and dairy, and it was pretty much one day to the next, but I still ate fish, and it took me sort of a year to let that go, and then I did, and it was awesome for me.
That was my husband.
But is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think the really important thing, if I could leave somebody with, but don't go away, because we got tips, and we got workout suggestions, we got lots of stuff, is make the connection. Just be done with what other people are telling you is the truth. Do some research, make the connection for yourself about what is healthy for you, and you have to make that connection between your food source and you. Yeah. And then you'll make the right decisions, because it'll be the right one for you. Okay, so I'm going to ask her a couple tips on what she does to go vegan and what her workout situation is. And while you answer that, I'm going to look up who's talking to us online, see if I can answer some questions.
Okay.
But give me your tips for going vegan. Like, what do you suggest for someone who's thinking, I'm going to try a day without meat?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you're just going to say, okay, one day without meat, if you want something that is going to replace that kind kind of sensation that you have when you eat meat, then I would suggest going to almost any grocery store now and just getting some Gardein meatless meatballs.
Yes.
I mean, super simple. Make a pasta or some rice or some quinoa, throw tons of grilled or sauteed veggies on there, and try those wonderful meatless meatballs. You know, there's a lot of meat alternatives, right? Meat that's made from plants. We've mentioned, Beyond Meat. Those burgers are, you're going to pass out when you have them. So there's lots of replacements, but we don't need meat replacements at every single meal. I mean, you cannot. There's also wonderful, wonderful dairy cheese replacements like chow cheese and tree nut cheese and Miyoko's cheese. And if you want to do it yourself, there's an amazing book that just came out called This Cheese is Nuts by Julie Piat, Rich Roll's partner.
Yes.
And trust me, I thought the same thing. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be making cheese in my kitchen because I like to do things in under 5 minutes. And she's an amazing chef.
Yes.
And oh, please. But she was so lovely to give me the book when I was over there. And I made the first 2 cheese recipes. I'm telling you, they were 5 ingredients each in a food processor. I had a party that night. People were dying. So get the book. You really can do it yourself. But anyway, back to your point. You can also just not have meat and dairy replacements, and you can have all sorts of seeds and nuts and vegetables and grains. And there's basically everything else you were eating before. Keep eating and then just add to that.
So I think what I learned for myself is that my life had actually become very small on meat and dairy because, for lack of a better expression, I was kind of addicted to those things. So I just kept eating the same things and feeding that same thing. And then when I got rid of meat and dairy, I was like, holy cow, sweet potatoes. Why didn't somebody tell me? I had been ignoring great things like Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes. And, if you're not used to cooking with those things, you might be like, well, Brussels sprouts have no taste. But I'm telling you, 4 days off of meat and dairy, the whole world starts to taste better. Your taste buds come back alive. That was my experience.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
Your choices actually get bigger as, I'll use the word vegan, but plant-based, your choices get bigger as you become plant-based because you realize, oh gosh, there's so much more out there that I'd been ignoring.
Yeah, because plants and herbs and spices, they flavor everything.
Right.
And those are all from the earth.
Those are all from
not
the earth.
from animals.
Right. So good for you. So I do have a really interesting comment here from Karen Lynn Dale. Hey, Karen. Thanks for coming in. She was saying that she's allergic to soy. And so, can you do this if you're not on soy? And I think that's a common question.
Sure.
Misconception isn't fair because it's a truly good question, but I think a lot of people think this means you're going to have a lot of soy in your life, and you don't have to have a lot of soy.
If you're allergic to anything, then don't have that anymore, right? I mean, that's it. But so as far as the milk and yogurt alternatives, because that's probably, for me, that's one of the main things. Oh, I don't want to have soy milk or soy cheese or whatever. There's rice milk, there's hemp milk, there's cashew milk, there's coconut milk, there's almond. I mean, really, the list kind of goes on and on.
Yeah.
And all of those have yogurts. Most of the cheeses are made from cashews. So you don't have to touch soy in that whole category.
Yeah, which is so wonderful. And one of the things I didn't know was that there's almond yogurt. Because my big concern was oh gosh, what am I going to do about yogurt? So I understand, Karen, you're not doing soy, but I take tofu in the morning and then I add a tablespoon of honey, some raw oats, whatever berries I have and whatever seeds I have, and I make my own sort of thing because I used to do that with yogurt. Now I just replaced it with tofu. But once I realized, I was a little slow on the uptake. Once I realized there was almond milk yogurt, I was like, oh baby, I'm in. I'm totally in. Yeah. So
I know.
It takes a little bit of discovery in the grocery store and you realize, holy cow, it's all there.
And if you're looking for, obviously soy is from the soybean, which has tons of fiber and tons of protein. So if you're looking for replacement, do black beans, do chickpeas, right? Do pinto beans. There's a plethora of other beans that have just as much protein and fiber that you can replace the soybean with. So I don't even think it's an issue.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Completely
good. You're going to be good.
You're going to be good. So one of the things that's great about this podcast is I hope to give tips for other people and tools for other people, but then I always get tips for myself, which is so great. I had no idea that I could make cheese in 5 steps. You've turned the corner for me.
5 ingredients.
No way.
Yes. The first cheese in her cookbook is smoked almond cheddar.
All right.
And it's 5 ingredients. I mean, it's crazy easy. It's like the food processor. So it is like a dipping cheese. And she has cheeses later in the book that are a little more complex that I'm excited to try, that are, formed cheeses, right? Like a block of brie or blue or something like that. But I started with the first couple and they were just, I couldn't believe how easy.
Okay, I'm on it.
It was less than 10 minutes.
I'm on it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so usually I do this podcast from my kitchen in Venice, and next time I have somebody over and I cook vegan food, I'm going to try to make some cheese.
Yes.
All right, Julie, I'm coming for your cheese. So since we're here and we're talking to a silver medal Olympian, we might as well get some workout tips. So I wondered if you have...
I don't know if I'm the one to go.
For the person who's trying to work it in, like a 15-minute workout a day, any bang for your buck kind of
15 minutes. So no, if you have a really short period of time, I would go really hard for a really short period of time, right? You almost anaerobic, obviously 15 minutes, you're going to need oxygen, but do really short bursts. So if you're in the gym on a bicycle or you're on a treadmill or you're even on elliptical, right, do 15 and 20 seconds burst as hard as you can go inside of that 15 minutes, because it's going to be hard to really see a change in your body and in how you're feeling if you just do 15 minutes of low end endurance aerobic exercise, right? You need to do that for an hour. So get some intervals in there.
So do it. Change it up
and
go
get
really
that metabolism, spiking and just everything and sweat, and you'll just also get a great endorphin release, and that's what a lot of us are looking for with exercises. But me nowadays, I'm not looking to perform at anything. I'm just looking to feel great.
Right. Yes. Looking to feel great. So I will add something that's sort of the lazy man's small person workout thing. So a lot of people watching are in Chicago, so O'Hare. Every time I go to O'Hare, I only take the stairs. I never take the escalator. So any chance I get, I know Californians are in their cars a lot, so maybe it makes less sense to them, but Chicagoans are out. I never take an escalator. Even if there's the opportunity for an elevator, I never do that if it's within 4 floors. I always take the stairs.
It all matters.
It all matters. It all adds up.
It does.
Yeah, so I'll just take this little moment to say, since we're talking about tips, and if you want more tips, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, which is at Elysabeth Alfano. Of course, you're on my Facebook page, so you can follow me there. And we've got iTunes. The new iTunes podcast of Vegan Nation is coming very soon as we hit on the air with WGN Radio. So you'll go and subscribe to all those great things. Before we actually get to eating and the two of us go and start stuffing food in our face.
Starving.
I had a couple quick questions, sort of off the cuff.
Okay.
So try not to think of them. Try to just be okay, visceral response, here it goes. This is a little section I like to call, what do you know? Because what do you know? What item will we always find in your fridge?
Wine.
What? Awesome.
The truth comes out with this, doesn't it?
What's your go-to, I don't have time to cook today, I'm going to make that same famous dish I always make. I need something super fast, I got to eat, I'm hungry. What's your
toasted almond butter?
Oh, love it. So easy and fast.
Yeah.
What's your favorite junk food? It can be healthy like almonds, or it can be right down to Twizzlers, because, ain't no shame in this game, baby. Twizzlers are vegan.
I know. That's right. Chocolate, dark chocolate. But it is. That's good for you too. But I have a little bit of it every night.
Yes, I do too. I love dark chocolate, and it's very easy to find without dairy, and it's super good. And I've got it all. I like bark thins.
No those are even. I know.
I think we know the answer to this because we've maybe heard the dogs around. But do you have pets? And she does. They're sleeping in her lap. 2 dogs. And do you think they're any different than farm animals?
Oh my God, no. That almost just gets me. Yeah. So there, we've created this scenario in our society that there's some animals that we eat, some animals that we love, some animals that we wear, right? Some animals that we watch perform in circuses, and they're all different types of species, just like we're a different type of species of an animal. And they all have rich, deep emotional lives. They have experiences of joy and family. They all have families. We don't think about that we're ripping families apart when we are sending different ones in different directions to die. They have experiences of despair and sadness and misery and love and joy. I've seen it, all of these that I'm saying, not just from pulling it from the sky, but spending time with them at Indraloka Farm Animal Sanctuary, where I've spent the most time with farm animals in Pennsylvania. I've seen it in the ducks. I've seen it in the chickens, in the pigs, in the sheep, in the horses.
Of course.
You know, in the cows. Cows are they're like on another level than we are. I'm sorry. They're
And they're so family oriented, which makes dairy even worse.
So they're all the same. So just take some time to think about why you've separated these different species, because I'm sure a lot of people listening are dog and cat lovers.
Sure.
I've never run into somebody that says, I hate dogs or cats. Maybe they don't have any, but they don't hate them.
Right. Yeah.
Why are you separating out these species?
Yes. And I think it's because unless we have time to stop and think, and quite frankly, who does? Gosh darn it. I certainly understand. We're all crazy busy, so who's got time to think about this stuff? We kind of think what we're sold to think, not what we're told to think, but what we're sold to think. And I think we've just kind of accepted like somehow they're different. But I've had the same experience every time I'm around animals, elephants in Asia, lions in Africa, farm animals. They experience family and joy and love and despair just like we do. So just curious question. Okay, so you would say no to that. No difference between family pets and farm animals. What do you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now?
What I know about eating animals. I mean, I had done some shady things in my life. We didn't help to tell the full story here today. And I do not regret any of it, because it is who I've become.
Who you are, yes.
But eating animals up until 37 is a massive regret, because I was the monster behind a lot of death. So I wish I knew what I knew now. Well, now 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny? I say that same thing. For me, becoming vegan really a year and a half ago in full, I just wish I could take back the hands of time and do it differently. I feel so much better. So I know for those of you who aren't willing to go into the animal space, because it's a hard space and I ignored it for a long time. So forget animals for a second. I feel so much better. Gosh darn it. Why did I wait till I'm older? Gosh darn it. And then once I was willing to turn that corner, how could I have not seen it before? Gosh darn. But we are who we are because of our past. So, ain't no shame in this game. Not for us and not for you. So we're not here to be down on ourselves. But, we turn the corner, we do different things. So I'm with you. I wish I had gotten on that bandwagon earlier. Gosh darn it. If you want to be known for one bit of change in the world, what would that be?
Love. I have this incredible, immense, deep desire to just leave this world just a little bit better than I found it. I mean, we all have that ability, and even if it's just a little bit, I hope it's a lot of bit, but I don't know. That matters the most to me.
Thank you for doing that. Do you know your true purpose in life? And if so, what is it?
I think I'm doing it. I think I'm living it.
That's
I mean,
good.
it's really, it's kind of a wild experience when you really open your eyes and recognize why you feel you were put on this planet. And to do this work was definitely the reason I think that I was put on this planet, in this sphere that we're all spinning on out in the middle of nowhere that is just a few short years and then you're gone. But while we're here, we better do our best, and I think at the end of the day, love wins.
Yeah. Well, my answer to that is I'm so happy for you, because when we're in that spot, and I like to call it the bingo effect, when we feel that our passions meet our skill set, you're like 150% of yourself. You feel so much larger than life when you feel like you're really aligned. And I wish it for every one of you, and I'm so happy for you that you feel that way, because it's a great feeling. My last question before we just get to eating, folks, and we let you all go. What are your predictions? And I originally had this question as for the future of food, but then I thought, well, maybe I don't want to classify it. So do you have any predictions for the future? The planet, the food, the environment, Twinkies, whatever, it's up to you.
Twinkies. Gosh. Well, I mean, I think I have ideas of what I would like things to look like. Whether they're going to look like that or not, I'm not entirely sure. But I do look towards a world in the next 30 years
30.
where a significant amount of our population have recognized that it's time to cut out the middleman and go straight to the source and eat plants instead of getting their protein from animals who got it from plants. I have a real hope that it's about that period of time. I'd like it to be much shorter. It could be a bit longer, but that there's much more of a majority of the population, not just 6% of us, who have opted out. I would love to see it in my lifetime, but that's me being selfish because that just,
I think
would be amazing.
will.
But
I think you will see it in your lifetime, and I think those numbers, 6%, I think that's changing. People who are plant-based consider themselves trying to be at least partially plant-based. Come on, millennials, we love you for this because you're so into it, and we love you for being that way.
You're so aware.
I think we're turning a corner. So come on, Lucky 7. But again, we're not here to preach. You do what is right for you. You make that connection for you. You feel good and healthy about living your aligned life. And rock star that. I want to thank Dotsie for having me in her kitchen, for coming out to Irvine, California. We're going to get to eating. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. And see you next time right here on Vegan Nation. Love you. Bye.